take flight.
Everybody, my name is Scarbound,
Starlight Flux,
and we've just got finished watching episode 30 of Boku no Hero Academia. You can find our reaction to that down in the description below. Right, okay, so with that aside, let's just jump right into it.
That was one hell of one hell of a battle, let's put it that way.
The climax.
It seemed like it's only 10 minutes, except it was spread across like an episode.
Yeah, apparently the whole battle lasted for 10 minutes, but it actually lasted it lasted at least episode 29, because pretty much the entirety of episode 29 was dedicated to that battle. And then there was also the part in this episode as well, so...
Yeah, the bit where they basically ended up, he ended up saving, it seemed like he had a bit of a, I wouldn't call it a redemption after Hero Killer, but at least he did save a life in the end. But...
Yeah, so it seems interesting what we've got with the Hero Killer, because first of all, he did end up losing after a pretty fierce battle.
That was one hell of a battle. I mean, it took like 3 heroes to take him down. That was one hell of a...
But again, we're seeing that sort of obsession with sort of
being narrow-minded.
True heroism, as it were. Like, he said that he'd spare Midoriya's life in the previous episode, and this time he did actually save his life from the weird zombie bird thing, which is interesting.
Because it clearly recognises there's something different about him compared to the other heroes. You know, and it kind of shows in the fact that he looked up to All Might, because All Might clearly is what he considers to be a true hero. You know, selfishly going out his way to save people.
Selflessly, yeah. But yeah, it also sort of shows this sort of thing about he has no real camaraderie with the League of Villains. Like,
no, he's not.
He defeated, he killed one of their weird flying brain.
He clearly, yes. So then always my assumption that he was completely separate from them, and he would essentially be how the students would essentially cut the teeth, so to speak.
Well, to be honest, from what I understand, I mean, from the previous episodes, we did see that he had no real sort of alignment with them. He basically grudgingly agreed to help them, but he also made it quite clear that he was going to dispose of them once he had no further usage for them. He did not he was not lying at any point about where his loyalties are, you know, and ultimately he's out for himself.
He seems like quite an idealist, you know, as they say, he's an anarchist, extremist.
He is very sort of idealistic.
Yeah,
his opinion on what a hero is basically the only thing a hero should be. And obviously,
well, it sounds like he didn't want heroes to make money from their deeds either. So it sounds like he's a bit of an anarcho-capitalist.
I think it's more that he is. He doesn't believe that people should be heroes for their own personal reasons. They should be doing it for the good of others.
Yeah,
which is fine in a way, but at the same time, if you're in this sort of world where you do have these quirks, and
it's your job, and you need to survive. You need to survive first if you can save other people. It's like if people donate a lot of money to charity and end up in trouble themselves.
It's no different really from being a police officer in this world, you know. They're basically...
Well, a lot of people would have problems with police officers, as you know, but...
Yes, but the idea is that they uphold the law, they keep order, you know, in the places that they are, you know, that they're part of. They are sort of the law and order of their communities. And in the same way, heroes are kind of the same thing, except for the more supernatural beings.
They're more supernatural, but I think the whole idea behind what they consider true heroes, it doesn't actually take a superpower. I think that's what they're essentially saying. That seems to be the general theme.
With the hero killer, it seems like their idea of what a hero is just straight up someone who uses their powers only for the good of other people, which is fine in a way. That's one way of kind of defining a hero, but at the same time...
Yeah, but you shouldn't be taking it to the extreme where people who don't do that, you should be allowed to make that choice.
Yeah, obviously.
And deal with the consequences of it. If people don't like you because you're an asshole, you know, you're using your powers to be an asshole, and that's the consequences of doing so.
I mean, it's kind of similar with Endeavour as well. Like, we saw... I mean, obviously we heard about Endeavour's not so great fathership from Todoroki, but when it actually comes to being heroic, you know, being a hero, he actually does it pretty well. But then again, he also has that selfish side of it where he wants to be better than All Might.
Yeah,
so
it shows he's human, essentially.
Yeah. And that's one of the sort of key things, is that there's all sorts of different sides to all the characters. So, for example, Leader is, again, we've seen he is very sort of straight edge. He's very literal. He's very.
I would almost say he's got Asperger's, because if you take the way he took. You know, I hate to keep on bringing this up, but there seems to be a lot of parallels between a lot of that. You know, well, I'm sorry, for somebody who's grown up having to cope with Asperger's, it does. I do see a lot of things about how to overcome your essential mental troubles that come about because of your difficulties pop up so many times in this show.
Well, what I was going to say with Leader is he seems like the sort of person who he seemed very sheltered in that he was constantly looking up to his big brothers. And you know, when he went to the Hero Academy, he was very sort of he was kind of the prefect type character, you know, the kind of, you know, he was sticking to the rules almost to a fault, you know, almost to the point where he was a bit annoying with it.
I wouldn't say he was exactly like the characters who were Integrity Knights in Sword Art Online, but I mean, he gave off that kind of overly obedient school student vibe. You know the kind, you know, the one who's just like, who's telling off other children for breaking the rules. So not just a nerd, but an uber nerd in essentially.
I wouldn't even say nerd. I'd just say someone who is just obsessed with following the rules, like the kind of
a bureaucrat, then basically
hall monitor level of kind of school student.
Yeah, basically a bureaucrat in making, essentially.
But yeah, he's also shown that he is that when someone harms someone close to him, and obviously this is probably true of many people, is that he has that ability to kind of forget why he is.
Yeah, I think to be fair, that's the same with a lot of people. I think most people, if anyone was going to harm someone they cared about, they would go out that fucking way to make sure that person paid.
But yeah, it's quite interesting, really, all the different characters. We've not really seen much of. We've just got like the screen still up at the moment and paused. And I was going to say, we don't really know much about Uraraka just here, because she, obviously, all we've really heard about her is that she wants to be a hero to basically make money and support her family.
Well, to be fair, that in itself is not a selfish aim, because she's trying to support her family, which is not a
They're all sort of really good.
I mean, to be fair, even if you're looking after yourself, while it's technically a selfish aim, it's something that most sane people would understand. You know, you expect most people to try and look after themselves so they can at least survive.
But anyway, back to the episode, back to the actual episode in and of itself. So they managed to beat the hero killer. They managed to restrain him for a short time at least. And yeah, then the episode ended with him basically blood curdling himself, which was pretty silly of him.
So basically one of his broken bones basically cut his blood, and that blood actually went up into his stomach and probably ended up curdling himself because of it.
Well, yeah, how it was described was basically he got a broken rib, that broken rib pierced his lung, which can happen. all right, that would have made him cough up blood probably when he was doing all that shouting, you know, because that's going to bring up.
Yeah, so he wasn't going to cough up blood when he was helping, you know, well, saving, what's his name again? From the creature that had the brain out.
Well, it depends. It really depends on what exactly sort of happened. It might have been, you know, the whole energy from, you know, leaping out of his binds and jumping on that thing. Maybe that kind of exacerbated the issue with his ribs and made it sort of go into his lungs.
I think, to be fair, that's probably moved into his lungs, and then all that shouting probably caused him to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a doctor.
Neither am I.
But yeah, it's interesting how he basically managed to.
That's the reason why we have like
stun himself.
For our software.
Of course, his blood type is unknown, so we have no idea how long he'll be trapped that way. So, but I guess while they were doing that, they kind of arrested him anyway. But yeah, it was also good to see Gran Torino doing some fighting and Endeavour doing some great fighting. There was some really good acting from Endeavour as well.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, overall it's been a really good episode.
Yeah, I would say that was a really solid episode, a good way to end off that fight with the hero killer.
It makes me wonder what's going to come next though.
Oh,
I don't know where they're going to go with this.
There's still the League of Heroes, obviously.
You mean the League of Villains?
Yeah, League of Villains. League of Villains. It could have been worse. I could have said the League of Legends.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
But yeah,
the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
League of Extraordinary.
Kind of not that far away, to be honest.
Yeah, but yeah, the League of Villains are still a threat with their weird kind of brain bird things.
Forget the name of them. What they're called again?
I can't even remember.
Same, yeah.
It's something that ends with the word moo.
Begins with N.
It begins with B.
Lumo? Lumo?
Yeah, something like that. I can't.
Something like that.
This is the problem being.
We're probably
butchering the pronunciations anyway, because you know we're not that used to pronouncing half of these goddamn anime names anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, I would say solid episode. I'll give it an 8.5.
Yeah, I would say I'd give it 8 point. I would actually give it 8.6 actually.
Yeah, good episode. I will. Well, yeah, I enjoyed that episode. I probably will end up watching some other people reacting to it as well. Hope you enjoyed our reaction to it.
Yeah.
If you have watched it, which I do recommend you do. Apart from that, my name is Skybird.
Starlight Blacks.
And we will see you next time for the next episode of Hero Academia. Goodbye.
Bye.